Greetings. I'm Pastor Scott Sommerfeld here at Community Lutheran Church, and it's my pleasure on this fireside chat to be meeting with Matt Heyer, a staff member who's trained in family life ministry. And Matt, I just have to say, it has been a pleasure to work alongside of you. I'm not sure the folks in the congregation understand how supportive you've been and key role you've had in this whole transition ministry, especially in the last months, being the contact with our consultant as we've done the strategic direction team, heading up the writing team of that, as well as I have fond memories of the two of us teaching a family ministry intro Bible study. That was about a year ago.
Wow.
So this has been a journey, right? And so here we are ending my season of service with community. And that's why I really wanted to have this moment, Matt, to share with the congregation what God's been up to in a transformation, not only in you growing as a church worker, which has been super cool to watch, and I've had wonderful comments and encouragements shared about what a blessing to see you thriving, especially with this new focus that we talk about. It's a nuanced approach to discipleship, which has a focus on family ministry. And that's really what we want to talk about today. Kind of how did we get to this spot where we're convinced, and the board is too, right? So we're going to share your new ministry description with the congregation along with this fireside chat. So tell us what's really moving us toward this new focus on family ministry, and what does the Bible have to say about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Just wanted to say thank you so much for those kind words, and it's been an absolute blast serving with you too. So it really comes to who has the job of making disciples. And if we look at one of my absolute favorite chapters of scripture to go through is Deuteronomy chapter 6, and we'll just get a short little section of that here starting in verse 4. So it says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one." So right off the bat, this is God talking to his people, talking to the whole nation of Israel. And it continues with, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And these words that I command you today shall be on your heart." So something is really important that is coming up here. And here's where the message gets into a little more community. And what I believe is most specifically a family unit. "You shall teach them diligently to your children and shall talk of them when you sit in your house and when you walk by the way, when you lie down and when you rise. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates." So this passage is just, I can't but help think, who is going to be with their children? Who's going to talk to them at their house? Who's going to walk with them through life? Who's going to be there at night to tuck them in and get them up in the morning? It sounds like a family to me.
I would agree, Matt. And if it's so clear there in Deuteronomy 6, and as Bible believing, Bible following Christians, I mean, that's what we're known for. So what happened? How come the model shifted? Or so what was it? And now we're trying to reclaim this Deuteronomy 6 model.
Absolutely. If we look all the way back here, this is God's Old Testament people. This is how they were told to raise up the next generation of disciples. It was the family unit that had that primary responsibility. And obviously we have other caring members in that community, grandparents, other people who really cared about the next generation. And we see that model happening in the New Testament with entire households being baptized, with the call of teaching the faith. And even if we go back to the Reformation, we have Luther's small catechism. As Lutherans, this can't get away from talking about Luther. But the small catechism, when you open it up, it says, as the head of household is to instruct the members of the family in the faith. So this is in our identity, that this is what we do. But sometime in the last, I want to say it really kind of started cementing in the 60s, but we switched from equipping the home, and where the home was the primary place of teaching the faith, to dropping off as a church. I grew up in that culture. The church was like, hey, we've got all this great stuff. We know how hard life is. We want to help really support you and take care of it. So it wasn't intentionally a bad thing, but because of that mentality, that drop-off culture really had a detriment. And by doing this, we're not doing something new. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just going back to basics and how ministry and life and the home and church, that partnership was always meant to be.
Yeah, so that's really where we're heading. Is we're kind of back to the future. I mean, we want to bring the new way forward, which is really the old way. So we're going to Deuteronomy 6, and we're saying, golly, it sure looks like a church that cares about homes and families is going to be equipping moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, people of influence, to help them be the faith shapers of the next generation. And I think that's something that gets you excited. Tell me what that would look like, and has already been happening here at Community, because I think you've been tweaking ministry kind of sneaky over this last year, doing this director of family ministry style. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we have been doing what we like to call family-friendly tweaks versus an overhaul of entire ministry. Surprise, we've been doing some of these already. For one of the important ways that I think we've been doing it is with our confirmation ministry. One of the new things that I actually stole from Jim Engelbert and Michelle Engelbert. I had a meeting with them several months ago, and they both said that they had some people in their lives that really just helped them understand the faith more, that weren't their parents and that took an interest on them. So we did this for the first time in a while this past year. And one of the stories I really wanted to share with you would be of Talon Lynch and Rick Gailey. If you were here for confirmation this year, this story will not be new to you, but Talon had chose Rick Gailey as his faith hero. So maybe you're a little nervous about being someone's faith hero, like you're looking at Old Testament figures, maybe Abraham. It's surprisingly not that hard. So the way it started out was Rick Gailey came into class one day, shared his testimony, his story of his faith and journey, and said like, hey, if you guys have any questions or need some support, I'm here for you. And then a couple weeks had passed, and Rick went to town, was like, hey, I care about you. Here's my number. I'm taking it. I'm physically putting it into your phone right now. I'm here for you. And I think a couple months later did the same thing. And that earned him the spot as Talon's faith hero. And this was something that we were just trying to inch towards, just that more intentionality. And that's just 3 or 4 conversations that cemented him in this spot and created him to be an awesome influence in Talon's life. What if we were even more intentional than that? This is just one of those tiny little tweaks that if we can get these caring adults with our youth and with our children, just think of the ripple effect.
Matt, that's exciting. In fact, I do remember that confirmation service, and Talon sharing that in his faith video on confirmation day. So that's a youth example. How might someone who's focusing on equipping the home, equipping adults to come alongside and feel even more prepared, more confident as faith shapers. What's something that maybe could happen with young families?
Absolutely. So, if you did not know, we have a preschool that has, sorry, a little tongue in cheek there, but we have a river of families. We literally would have loved to have Christy on here to be talking about this as well, but she is doing a fantastic job over there. And one of my new goals, areas of focus, is going to be working with the preschool. I'm going to be over there more, chapels, etc. But we've got a bunch of people that are already seeing like, wow, Creative Learning Campus is a huge blessing to us.
Mhm.
So, what better way of myself working with Christy to help these parents in their journey? I'm not a parent yet, but I can guarantee you, from my parents' perspective, raising a kid is no easy feat. One of the specific ways that we're working on this is working more towards a parenting and marriage ministry. In college, I was exposed to Scott Turansky's work, Parenting is Heart Work. It's an awesome parenting class that really gets at not working on just the symptoms of what your kids are doing and their behavior issues, but what's really going on in their heart that is causing them to act out or work in these specific ways. And in fact, one of the blessings during the past year, our preschool teachers and Christy went through this whole curriculum and they're like, wow, this is so powerful. This is so cool. I'm going to take this into my life as a parent and work with my kids. And it's just phenomenal. So what we're going to do, actually, on February 4th and 11th, those are both Thursdays, and we'll have some more information posted in the description below, and you'll see some posts and emails. We're going to be trying to do a condensed version or a greatest hits collection of two of these video classes. They're about half an hour long. And then on the actual date, we're going to be having a Zoom forum, a get together with a couple of preschool teachers, Christy and myself, just discussing, leading it through the discussion questions and growing more as parents, guardians, future parents, and preparing us for that work.
As I hear you describe, and I always notice body language and what happens to someone's voice. When I hear you talk about caring for families, equipping parents to be those faith influencers, to have a healthy home, right? Healthy relationships, and a growing faith. I see your body language. You get active. Your voice gets strong. And this is something that sounds like you're very fired up about. Is that right?
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
This is just so cool to see some of this stuff really coming to fruition. I'm so pumped right now.
Yeah. And so I would love to say to folks who are wondering, why the shift, that clearly we could do family ministry, Matt, if you kept the title of Director of Discipleship. But we risk the fact that maybe we wouldn't do family ministry under that title. But if you're the family ministry director, now we know discipleship's going to happen, and we know that this focus on the home and that partnership between church and home. The church has its role to play in support and encouragement. The home has its role to play in making disciples. And it sounds like you're excited to get on that journey. I'm very confident that wonderful things are in store for the Creative Learning Campus, for community as a whole, and for the ongoing impact that this will have on lives for this generation and the generation to come. So friends, take a look. Along with this video, you'll see Matt's new ministry description. You'll see a description of the classes that are coming up. And Matt, again, thank you for sharing today. And folks, if at home as you're watching, if you've got some questions about this, I know somebody who would love to talk to you about how this is all going to work and the blessings that we see. Certainly some challenges, no doubt, but I really do see great momentum and a great future and as this unfolds at Community Lutheran Church. So thanks again, Matt. Blessings on your ministry and blessings to all my friends at Community Lutheran Church. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.